Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, back with another video on businesses and hobbies. This is going to be a recap of what they showed in yesterday's official live stream. It was supposed to happen on Friday, but then about 10 minutes in, EA had a power outage. Apparently it was in that whole neighborhood where their offices are. So, yep, they had to reschedule that for yesterday. And also, I do have early access to businesses and hobbies. This isn't going to be a video where I show footage of that from my game. That will be in separate videos. But without further ado, let's get into the live stream recap. While they had Mercy and Grim Surudoi on as the main hosts, it turns out that the main developers of this expansion pack are part of the Maxis Europe team. So that's interesting. I guess that's why we haven't had a stuff pack in over a year now. Hopefully we won't have another 2 or 3 year hiatus again. I would love to see at least one stuff pack this year. As they're showing the complete list of business activities, at least the ones available using base game and this new pack, Grim Surudoi says that with just these alone, there's 2.2 billion possible combinations. So I wonder how much more that number balloons when you have all the DLC. They briefly explain details about the 2 new traits, Idealist and Shady. And these 2 traits are meant to be polar opposites, so you cannot have both of the new traits on the same sim. So Shady Sims embrace the shadier side of life. They have an exclusive rabbit hole interaction where you click on your sim and you have an option to do a heist, either alone or as a group, and you can make some extra simoleons that way. Apparently, they can also throw shade somehow. In certain careers, Shady Sims can betray their co-workers for an instant promotion. I'm gonna guess that at least 2 of those will be criminal and secret agent. I'm a little surprised by the heist interaction because I remember on a survey there was this idea for a whole heist themed pack. So I don't know if maybe that was a very unpopular idea and they're not going to make it anymore, because yeah, it just seems a little weird to throw that into a businesses and hobbies pack. Idealist Sims want to lead by example and be very insistent in expressing their beliefs. If they get involved in anything shady, they can become embarrassed. But other than that, I don't know. It doesn't really sound as interesting as the shady trait, in my opinion. With the tattooing skill, it is possible to practice it by using the digital sketchpad, so you don't always have to draw a tattoo in other sim in order to gain that skill. And it is possible for tattooing to go wrong. So if your sim has a low tattoo skill, or if they're in a bad mood, that increases the chances of that happening. They also mentioned that their sim Zach, who has level 8 tattooing skill, is able to improve the quality of existing tattoos or remove tattoos entirely. I find the tattooing animation a little strange because even though they're giving an arm tattoo to Mortimer here, it's still like as if they're giving a tattoo around the belly button. I don't know. I wish they had done some variations of the animation depending on where on the body it's being put on. After that, they show the world map and they confirm that both Nordhaven and Nordhaven are acceptable ways to pronounce this new world. It's sort of like how with some places the locals say it one way and then other people say it another. I know I used to live in a place where it was like that with pronunciation, so that's kind of interesting, but I think I will go with the more local way of saying it as Nordhaven. As far as real-world inspiration goes, they mentioned several northern European cities, including Stockholm, Amsterdam, Oslo, Copenhagen, and even Berlin and London. They also gave a shout out to the 4 EA Network creators who helped build the lots. So they are Kelly Hart X, Johanna Builds, Eva Rocky, and Lorene35. Next, they show that when you're going to visit a small business, you can either visit as a customer of the small business or visit as a household guest. So that's really cool. I'm so glad they thought of this because I think when I make small businesses, I'll run them sometimes, but most of the time, I think I will be playing as the customer but there are certain times where I do want to just visit as a friend rather than to go over there and buy something. They visit the Pottery Studio as a customer. It is pointed out that the ticket kiosk on this particular lot is set up to give a recurring charge. So they do pay 9 simoleons initially to enter, but then they would be charged 9 more simoleons per hour that they stay there. An interesting aspect of this lot is that it's not just a store. You are also able to give pottery classes and lectures. They explain the differences between lectures and classes. Both classes and lectures use the new whiteboard object and also a skill object to go with the skill that you want to teach. So if it's a painting class, for example, you'll need the whiteboard as well as some painting easels nearby. Classes are attached to small businesses and you make money off these. And they are gold events. Your goals will be different depending on whether you're the teacher or the student. If the class goes badly enough, just like with a tattoo that goes wrong, you may not get paid for it in the end. Lectures are free for anyone to attend. They are not gold, and you can hold these lectures not just at small businesses, but anywhere that you have the whiteboard placed down. They also explain the mentorship feature, so you can ask to be someone's mentee, though they may not always accept your offer, but they have added almost every skill in the game to this mentorship feature, and it is just another way for Sims to learn the skills at a faster rate than usual. Mentorship also opens up a new relationship type in the relationship panel, so that's neat. You could potentially also find your mentor at these hobby meetups that take place in Nordhaven, and there are 7 of these. Thankfully, you're not opted into notifications for any of them by default, but you can choose to be opted into certain ones or all of them if you want. So like there's this writers and readers meetup as an example. They all take place at different times too. With pottery, most of the creations they noted are purely decorative, but there are a few functional things that you can make, such as an incense burner, tea set, or a planter. They do pretty well in this class, but when they decide to end it early, it tells them they're unsuccessful. That's a weird glitch. I haven't played through a class yet, so I don't know if this issue is still there in the final version. After putting their pottery creations from class into their inventories so they can take them home, they show off a new feature they actually hadn't shown at all in any promo material yet, and that is the family recipes. So you can click on this new cookbook where there's this family recipes interaction. You'll be presented with this screen, so you have to first select a base recipe, like say spaghetti or French toast or garden salad. So just ones that your sim already knows. Then you select a secret ingredient such as sugar or carrots or lemons. And then you can add a special touch which can give a gameplay effect. However, your sim has to go through a related experience first before they can add that special touch. So for example, they can add a special touch called Heartbreak Healer, but they can't add this unless that sim has gone through heartbreak themselves. You can give your family recipe a custom name. It'll show you your total cost for your recipe once you have all your ingredients lined up. After closing their small business for the night, they go over to this alleyway where there's this legitimate and normal NPC named Trashley Real Person. Unfortunately, Trashley runs off before they can actually interact with them, but you are able to buy this Trashley certified art, and it's one of 2 new collections. The other is Nordhaven bike parts, which I saw in someone else's video already, where you can fish in the canals of Nordhaven, and you may fish out these bike parts, these different frames and wheels, and they all have these interesting descriptions for each one, and you can hang them all up on your wall. Candy is talked about next, so there is a countertop candy maker that's kind of similar to the ice cream maker and popcorn machine, where you can craft candy. There's a few different kinds, like lollipops and cotton candy and jelly beans. However, if your sim has a good amount of mischief skill, they can make shock candy, which gives the sim who eats it a sugar rush, a squeaky voice, they giggle a lot, and have a little glow in their eyes as well. For a short time, they'll also be able to cast lightning, which is exactly like how in Seasons, if your sim gets struck by lightning a couple times, then they can throw lightning into the air. So that's just another way to get the same thing. However, there is a drawback, because if you're not careful, your sims will die of laughter. Though it was pretty funny how the burglars showed up right after they finished casting lightning. I already talked about burglars in plenty of detail in a couple of different videos last week, so I don't feel the need to cover this part of the stream. But yep, burglars can rob small businesses. Then they spent about the last half hour or so of the stream talking about build, buy, and create a sim. I want to just save most of that for when I play the pack myself, so I'm not going to go too deep into it, but they did take a lot of inspiration from Scandinavia and also just objects and clothing like signs and aprons that go well with running a business. And some of the clothing is inspired by Northern Europe. Definitely got some jackets going on. That makes sense. That would be great if you're looking for more cold weather wear for your Sims too. That's pretty much it for the stream. So I like Grimsrudoy and Mercy on camera. I think they did well as presenters here, as well as the developers from Europe giving insight and like how they were inspired to make certain things in the pack. However, I'm disappointed that they didn't show all that much gameplay or that much of the new world either. I was really surprised they spent that much of the stream just on create a sim and build buy. Overall, this still does not look like an expansion pack that's worth full price to me. Like, if you get it for at least $10 off, then I think that makes more sense. But this just feels like another expansion pack that's like, it's not blowing me away. And I wish we could get an expansion pack that just blows me away again in terms of the content. And it's like, there's some good stuff here, but then it just seems like there's not enough brand new content. It's a lot like Get Together, where it leans a lot into pack integration, and that's good. But it feels like then it's one of those packs that you should wait until you have at least a few other packs so that you get more value out of it. If they had more actual new hobbies that you could also turn into a business, like say ballet dancing, so you could also open a dance studio where you teach ballet as a business, or bring back the sculpting skill from Sims 3 Ambitions, so then you could also sell sculptures as a business, or bringing some new gym equipment like an exercise bike, rowing machine, or salmon ladder, so you have some more cool stuff to run a gym with. Or bringing back cars, so you could have the fixer-upper car and fix up cars to sell them as a business, so you could basically run a car dealership, but then also have all that pack integration. Then I think this would be much more worth it as a $40 expansion pack, rather than something that is just like, it feels slightly bigger than a game pack, but not quite an expansion pack, kind of like with Horse Ranch. But hey, it's better than Love Struck at the very least. And that wraps up another Sims Info Thoughts video, so feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below on the live stream and businesses and hobbies in general. And be sure to subscribe if you'd like to keep up with my latest gaming content. I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching.